Hi, I'm Eduardo Gorab, Managing Director for Global Research and Strategy here at LaSalle. And with me, I have Chris Battista, Senior Product Manager, and Matt Sgrizzi, CIO and Securities Portfolio Manager. Both co-authored a ISA briefing note on the emerging golden era for REIT investment, which was published alongside this quarter's LaSalle Macro Quarterly Deck. So, Chris, in this briefing note, you describe what you call three golden eras for REITs. Firstly, what do you mean by golden eras? And secondly, what conditions have tended to precede these golden eras?
Absolutely, absolutely. So in our briefing note, we're highlighting three specific periods that we've deemed golden eras for REITs in the past 35 years. These golden eras are typically characterized by some combination of a dramatic change in the REIT market for the better, and then a period of outsized returns where REITs meaningfully outperformed other asset classes. While there's unique attributes to each of these golden eras, each period was typically preceded by challenging circumstances that have four common elements. First, dislocation in bank lending to real estate. Second, broad based negativity about real estate in some form or fashion. Third, underperformance to equities, which then creates mean reversion potential. And finally, an easing in financial conditions, often accompanied or driven by central bank easing cycle. So, what are these three golden eras that we've highlighted in this piece? First, the period following the savings and loan crisis, which spanned from the early to mid 1990s. That crisis was a significant contributing factor to the birth of the modern REIT era and the growth of the asset class during that period. During this golden era for REITs, they not only saw significantly outsized returns, but they saw a total number of REITs increase by nearly 50%, and then the market cap grow almost seven times. The next golden era took place following the dot-com frenzy. During that period, REITs were significantly out of favor by investors. And then when the dot-com bubble burst, the REIT market endured a multi-year run of strong absolute performance from 2000 to 2006, in which it outperformed broader equity markets by nearly 300% cumulatively. And then finally, the third and final period that we've identified is the period following the global financial crisis, or the GFC. So in the years following the GFC, as credit conditions thawed, we saw a rapid recovery in REIT prices. We saw that outperformance relative to equities. And probably most importantly, we saw the rise of new dynamic property sectors in the public market.
Thanks a lot, Chris. I think that's a really interesting exercise in pattern recognition that you've gone through. Now, Matt, as most of our viewers will know, real estate markets are going through a major period of adjustment. So I guess my question is, what makes you confident that we're currently at the dawn of a new golden era for REITs?
Well, Eduardo, if the issues laid out by Chris sound familiar, they should, because we've seen this before. And these issues set the table for a great period to be a REIT investor. So let's start off with banks pulling back from real estate lending. This is an undeniable opportunity for REITs. They are in an extremely strong financial position overall, with low leverage levels, long dated debt, and the ability to borrow significantly cheaper debt from the capital markets than from banks. And so REITs can take share from many real estate investors that are working out their problems right now. And we're already starting to see that activity pick up pretty materially here for the group. Next, sentiment towards real estate is not great, but so much of that is misplaced and focused on the office sector. And we all know it's tough out there for office, but the REIT market is not office. In fact, the exposure to the sector is historically low. The REIT market has far more exposure to sectors enjoying really strong growth, like data centers, healthcare, cell towers, some of the niche residential sectors. I wish the financial press would start with those sectors when they talk about commercial real estate. There are just a lot of great growth opportunities in the REIT space. And by the way, there will be opportunities in office, and the REITs are going to be a great way to seize them. Comparing this sentiment to the bullishness on growth stocks has caused REITs to underperform equities. We heard about that from Chris before too. Again, we've seen this before. It's normal, and it reverts. The valuation spread between REITs and equities is about as cheap as it's been over the past 20 years. And this is a setup for REITs to outperform. And again, we're starting to see that over the past few months. Finally, a lot of these problems often come with financial conditions tightening, which we've seen. And this is eventually followed by a central bank easing cycle. This was a contested topic just a few months ago, but disinflation is coming through, and the economy is slowing down. As such, central banks around the world are setting out on a logical easing of monetary policy. And these periods of time have been very good for REITs as financial conditions support real estate values, growth opportunities for the companies, and sentiment for the sector. While the precedent is there, we really see any further easing from here as a cherry on top for REIT returns. On our underwriting, we expect REITs to deliver high single-digit total returns. That's about what you should expect for modestly levered, high-quality real estate. But if we reduce our return requirements by 50 or 100 basis points from further easing, then our return expectations push well in the mid to high teens. And that's a golden era level of returns from REITs. So we've seen this before. The pieces are all in place, and we expect REITs to enjoy their next golden era of expansion and outperformance.
Thank you very much, Matt and Chris. Super interesting work. And if you would like to read more about this emerging golden era for REITs or view our LaSalle Macro Quarterly deck, you'll be able to find both of these on the Insights page of LaSalle.com. Have a read.